Hello, I'm Mason the Brock Henderson, and I am really tired. But I have to review one more show. Elementary! This is season 4, episode 11, Down with a Dead Delight. Nice little bit of alliteration right there. This was another episode that kind of caught me by surprise because of just how good it was in the midst of all this other stuff that's been going on. Nothing to do with what happened with Sherlock's dad and all the assassination attempt, all that stuff. I'm just like, how can you bring that up, not talk about it at all in this episode, and yet still have a good episode? That's how. I don't know why I just pointed my phone. That's how. I mean, really, a good episode in the midst of all this other stuff going on. And it's very interesting that they're able to do that. Because some shows, for example, Criminal Minds, I'm not going to bash Criminal Minds that much, but they had this interesting concept involving assassins and all of this stuff, and week after week they had okay episodes. A couple of them were really good, but they had just average episodes in the midst of this assassin thing going on in the background. And I'm just like, I want to know more about that. Can we please know more about that? And they didn't. They didn't really talk about it that much. And that was kind of disappointing. Because I just wanted to learn more about that. And same case here. Like, I want to know more about Sherlock's dad's almost assassination attempt. What happened, who did it, why, all of that. And yet, this episode, I was still really invested with what was going on because, one, it's a good case. Two, kind of an emotionally close to home case because of it's an attack on the morgue. We almost lost the doctor. It's funny. As far as morgue attendants go, like most of the time, you tend to know them. If you're watching a case show, like NCIS has Ducky and Jimmy. Psych had Woody. I don't know if Monk we ever talked to the morgue guy that much because he's OCD, so he didn't really go down to the morgue. But generally, I know who this guy is. Like every time he's on, I'm like, oh yeah, it's the morgue guy because he's curly hair, kind of bigger guy. So you know him, and it kind of emotionally hits close to home for him. So you care about it a bit too. And then they have the interesting thing going on with that Cortez lady that challenged Watson earlier and all of that stuff. So all of that is very interesting. So I'm going to talk about it all. Hopefully before I run out of Dr. Pepper. So, starting off with the case, I was really disappointed in how it opened. Not because it was a bad opening, but as this girl's walking in, singing and stuff, and like she's talking to the morgue doctor. I'm gonna look up his name really fast so I don't feel completely awful for not knowing who he is. Halls, Emmy Halls. Okay, I had to know. But she's like singing and joking around with him. You can kind of tell there's a bit of an affection there. And as soon as I did see the previews for this week, and I saw him looking like something had just been blown up. And so she brings it in, and they start kind of flirting with each other, and then he invites her out to a hockey game because he knows she likes hockey. I'm just like, no. No! You did not just bring her into this show for this one episode just so she could die so we would feel awful about it. And then they did. It's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's kind of emotionally tough. I just got introduced to this girl, and you started to make me like her, and then you just kill her. That's the only reason you brought her into the show, to give her a connection to this doctor that we know, and then just kill her so we can feel bad about it. That's wrong. I feel jiffed. So that was kind of emotionally scarring for a moment, but then I got over it because I'm just like, okay, I didn't know her that well. I will get over it. She was kind of cute. Anyway, so that kind of, like I said, that kind of hits emotionally close to home for them because they do know this doctor very well, and the fact that it's somebody that he cared about, like even Sherlock's just like, it is somebody that he cared for greatly. So he could see it too, the way that he talked about her, that he could see how much he cared for her. And that is nice to see the humanity of Sherlock because we don't see it that much. So well done scene there. More funny stuff with Sherlock, in the first crime scene, just hands over his jacket to Belle, and then just starts wading in this little swamp river type thing to the other side. And Belle calls him, and he answers his phone. She's like, "Hello? What the hell are you doing?" "I actually found some police tape over here." It's just the way that he talks is just so nonchalant. Like, obviously, I found a clue. Like, why are you asking questions? The case itself was very interesting. I like the fact that it wasn't straightforward. At first, they're questioning, well, several of these cartel gang members, their bodies were in the morgue and surrounding where this one guy, this body blew up. So, maybe it's one of the cartel members trying to cover up the tracks. So they bring one of those guys in, and he's just like, no. The bomb was designed with this material that is easily traceable. We would not be dumb enough to build a bomb like that. And the way he says it is very cocky, and you can just tell that he wouldn't be this cocky if there was actually something to be worried about. So you kind of write that off almost instantly. And you start to find out more about this girl, this one Jane Doe that got decimated in the blast. And it was kind of interesting to kind of also theorize, what if it was somebody in the police department actually trying to get rid of the girl, forensic technician, because, how did they know about crossing state lines and where the body ended up and all that stuff? Was it really just chance? Turns out it was, which is actually a good, interesting twist, because most of the time in this show, nothing happens by chance. And so when I heard that this girl's body actually got put into the NYPD's morgue instead of this other county's morgue, and then the body that was killed should have actually been put in in the NYPD morgue, and the Jane Doe should have been put in a different one. The fact that they ended up together, completely chance. I'm just like, was it chance though? Like, this show does very well at making things seem like it's coincidental, but it's actually not. So what if this wasn't chance? So to have it be where it actually is a complete coincidence is actually an interesting twist in the show, because that doesn't always happen. Like, you don't always have a twist where actually this was just a coincidence. It may have seemed a little weird, but in this case, complete chance. So you start to find out more about this Jane Doe that was destroyed. Nobody really knows who she was. She had her killer's DNA under her fingernails where she scratched him, or her, but it ended up being a him. I'm really sorry about that. That was disgusting. It's the Dr. Pepper. I'm trying to remember where I was. So they're finding out more about her. They find out that she's actually a part of a roller derby team. find out more about her boyfriend, find out about this guy that's stalking her. And once again, just like in all of these cases for the season so far, which has been very enjoyable. Okay, not all of them. One stood out as kind of not the same type of case. Anyway, it's fun to sit along for the ride and try to make your own deductions. Like going into all this, I'm just like, I don't think the boyfriend did it. That's just it's a little too obvious. He doesn't seem the type. The stalker too. Why would he kill her? Like, yeah, he's crazy, but why would he do it? Because then he would lose the one object of his affection. And I started to wonder about the dad a bit, but it never really crossed my mind because I was just like, well, what would his motive be? And when you finally find out the motive and that it is the father, I'm just like, why didn't I think of that? Like, that is just such a... It was all right there. Like, all the clues were there. The kid had a second hidden compartment. He had this book of all these killings. All the clues were there. Why couldn't I piece it together? One of those types of things where you feel like you could have solved it. It's just you didn't make the right deductions. It's so much fun to be able to do. It's so much fun to be able to theorize on your own and make your own deduction type thing. I really do enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's always enjoyable. On the side though, one second. On the side, you've got this Detective Cortez. She and Watson have already duked it out, and Watson won. So she's just like, why is she? She looking for a rematch. What's her purpose? And then finds out, she wants help on a case. And Watson's just like, okay, just leave the file there. I'll get to it if I can. Sherlock brings up a good point, and she could be doing something to harass you. She's done this before, and she needs help finding a suspect. Can't remember the guy's name now. But it all comes together in the end because you find out that this guy was assaulted by a lady who matches Watson's description. But luckily, Watson wasn't anywhere near him when it happened, and Sherlock's just like, don't worry, you have an alibi. Cameras caught you at the brownstone at the time of the attack. So your your foe has not gained the upper hand this time, something along those lines. And come to find out that, like, another very interesting turn, it seems like it went back and forth several times. Like, at first you think she's looking to pick a fight, and then she needs help, and you're like, oh, maybe not. And then Sherlock brings up the point if she's done stuff like this to harass people. Maybe she is. And then you find out that, maybe she was just trying to do this. You're like, oh, okay, so it was just a harmful prank. And you find out this guy that she was supposed to be tracking down gets beaten up. Well, maybe it's a frame job. And then it turns out, no, this guy brutalized another girl. And this detective wanted to get revenge. And yeah, it's wrong morally, but it's not like... She actually went to Watson for help to track him down. She didn't want to frame Watson. She needed help to track him down so she could beat the crap out of him. And it's kind of an interesting turn because the whole time you're kind of questioning, is this lady really bad? Is she good? Is she half bad? Is she half good? And then it turns out she's just somewhere in the middle. She really genuinely did want Watson's help, but she wanted her help to do something bad. To which Watson's just like, well, look, I'm not you. You really need to not do that again because it's wrong. Sherlock and I, we don't beat the crap out of people. Of course, Sherlock did that one time, and Cortez brings that up. She's like, see, I think he gets it. And the reason that you're still his partner means you get it too. I don't know where that's going, but it's kind of interesting to see how that's progressing and kind of what her character is becoming and what they're character dynamic together is becoming. Um, but I mean, it is a fairly interesting turn of events to take that this girl or this detective who hated Watson actually went to her for help. It makes me question exactly what her motives are and what's going on. But overall, like I said, a very good episode, even though it didn't incorporate any of the stuff that I had been wanting to see. Um, Not many shows can do that. The only other show that really did that for me was The Walking Dead. I'm sure you've heard about the whole character that was dead that everybody was freaking out about and turned out not dead. It took a couple episodes for them to get there, but in between those few episodes were good episodes. I was a little distracted because I did want to know what happened. You know, is he alive? Is he dead? What's going on? But watching them, I was just like, these are still really good episodes, even though they have nothing to do with that at all. Um, so it's the only other show that's been able to do that where it didn't show me what I wanted to see, but I still really enjoyed it. This is another thing where I really want to find out what happened with Sherlock's dad. You know, I want more of that. I want to find out more about that. But you know what? This is still a really good episode, despite the fact that I didn't find anything else new about that. You know, that's good. That is really impressive to be able to do that. And keep me interested and not upset me at all because I didn't get to see what I wanted to see. Um, so yeah, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to next week. You know, whether it's just another random case or whether we find out more about Sherlock's dad's assassination attempt. Um, so I'm looking forward to it. What about you? Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode, what you're thinking so far of this season, and whether or not I'm right or wrong. But of course, I'm always right. So just don't try to tell me I'm wrong. Okay. Anyway, leave a like and subscribe for more elementary content, and I will see you at the next review. Peace out.